October 17th, 2022, Glens Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. First order of business is the approval of minutes as written for the September 19th, 2022 meeting. I'd like to make a motion to accept those minutes as written. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. First application this evening is area variance 22-0009. Matthew DiCarlo, owner of 234 Ridge Street. Please come up. And would you state your name and address for the record?
Matthew DiCarlo, 234 Ridge Street.
Katie Wisniewski, like you said.
Welcome. So could you just tell us about what you're looking to do with your project?
Yeah, so we just purchased the home at 234 Ridge Street, and there is a fence, a old wooden fence on the Ridge Street frontage. We'd like to extend that down the side street and then do a chain link, black chain link up the driveway side, which I don't think has anything to do with the. It's more the one side street fence, which is on Sanford Street. We technically have two frontages because of the corner lot, and there's a tree hedgerow on the Sanford side that we'd like to put the fence behind, so that, and it'd be a 7-foot difference, I think, because it would have to be, without the variance, it would have to be 15 feet back off of there, so there'd be a little bit of a no man's land between the trees and the fence line, and it would connect closer if we went with the 7 foot closer to the sidewalk with the old wooden fence as well. That's going to be all new white vinyl fencing. We're going to leave on the Ridge Street side, there's a buffer off the bike path with brush and shrubs. We're going to leave that to kind of have a natural noise barrier of green space, and then have the trees in front of the new one on Sanford side.
So you're saying your fence is going to be in front on the street side of the trees, or on the
our side of the trees.
Right.
So sidewalk,
Trees.
trees, and then fence.
That's right. Okay.
Is that true for the Sanford Street side, or just for the, what's called the walkway side and the driveway side?
Yeah, so the Sanford side does have shrubbery. It's actually pretty tall. It's probably 10, 12 feet. That's on that side as well. There's a couple gaps in between it, but like he said, we're just looking to put the fence on the inside of the tree line. I think it will help with maintenance too. Just because if we did follow the 15-foot guideline, there'd be like a 6 or 7 foot gap between the trees and the fence that would have to be maintained. That's kind of an awkward spot.
It's a cool house, I remember it was for sale a while back.
We are very happy with it.
And for the record, because of the location next to the bike path, the county planning department had comments on this, just that they're in support of it. It's a convergence of vehicular, pedestrian, and bicycle pathway. Proposed fencing improvements and new installations, reasonable variance setback given the request. The corner location is property activity experienced on this corner, so the county seems to be in favor of this. And walking the property today, it certainly makes a lot of sense. It fits with the existing fence that's there, and where you want to connect it. I think it's a very natural connection. It would look kind of odd having that gap of sidewalk, shrubbery, no man's land, and your fence. So,
Yeah.
Seems to be reasonable to me.
I agree.
With respect to seeker, I would classify this as a type 2 action. It's the granting of an area variance for a single family, 2-family, or 3-family residence. Therefore, no further action is required.
Is there anyone from the public that wishes to comment? Any final questions for the applicants?
Nope. Seems straightforward and
Yeah.
appropriate use.
Perfect. Thank you all.
Yeah. I'd like to make a motion that the Glens Zoning Board of Appeals hereby grants the application for area variance. Project identified as 220009, Matthew DiCarlo, owner of tax map number 302.12-27-6, commonly known as 234 Ridge Street. On this date, October 17th, for the following reasons. This will not create an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood. In fact, it will fit with the existing fencing and fits very nicely with the existing vegetation. There really isn't an alternative to reasonably put a fence in other than what the applicant has proposed. It does not appear to be substantial as they're about 8 feet back from the sidewalk and fits with the existing fence, and it will not have an adverse impact on the physical and environmental conditions of the neighborhood or district. And although this is self-created, it really doesn't have an effect on granting of this variance. Do I have a second for the motion?
I'll second.
All those in favor, aye.
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 Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up is area variance 22-00010. Michael Chopa, owner of tax map 303.17-1-23. For the record, state your name and address for the.
Mike Chapa, 147 Ridge Street.
Good evening. For your records, my name is Ethan Hall. I'm a principal with Rosinsky Hall Architecture. Here tonight with Mike to represent for the replacement of the carriage house at 147. I'm sure if anybody went over and took a look at it, you understand why we want to replace it. If we don't replace it fairly soon, it's going to replace itself. The idea here is that the roof is in pretty sad shape, needs to be replaced, and we would like to improve it a little bit, get the upstairs so that it's livable and habitable, and the downstairs would have a single parking space and then space for Mike to have some property maintenance, place for the snow blower, place for the lawnmowers, that kind of thing. We are asking to get a little bit closer to the north property line, just to keep so that the drive coming in under the porticure and then into the parking space doesn't get any tighter than what it already is. We are pulling up some of the existing walkway that runs between Newman Street and the walkway from the parking lot into the building. So our lot coverage stays roughly what it is now. What we're adding, we're taking away somewhere else.
Where are you taking it away from?
There's a shaded area coming from Newman Street in. That's the space that's indicated as sidewalk area to be removed. The square footage is roughly equal to what we would be adding.
That's for the FAR kind of thing?
Yes. Yeah, it's just lot coverage. Yep, trying to keep the lot coverage basically what's there now.
Why are you switching the orientation? Right now it's going off Newman, then you're gonna go off to Ridge this way.
Because the parking spaces that are on that south side prevent him from using that garage door when there's somebody parked there, but no one can really park coming in through the porticure. If somebody parked in front of the garage door, they wouldn't be able to have any other way to get in.
And the reason it can't maintain the same setback is that it would be a bit of a tighter squeeze to pull in off the drive aisle.
Yeah, when you come in under the porticure, you have to make that turn now, and if we push it farther south, it pinches it against the back porch.
What's on the opposite side of the your adjacent neighbor? there?
Nothing, it's his backyard.
Just backyard.
Yep.
Yeah, I drove through today and
Yeah, me too.
it is very tight getting between the main house and the garage area. I don't know that you really could.
Yeah, if we get any closer to the south, it's gonna make it, I mean, when they're plowing right now, they have to really be careful, so
Yeah.
come through the other direction.
So on the rear yard setback, that's just maintaining what was already there.
That's maintaining, yeah, that's the same,
So it's-
yeah.
Not losing that.
Yeah, we're staying right on that same footprint and just expanding it out. And that's basically so we can get the stair inside.
It's gotta be rough plowing, where are you plowing the snow?
Pile it up, and then I have to haul it out when it gets back.
So really, you're adding 3 feet into the side yard setback. You're
Correct.
working by 3 feet.
Yep. Towards an existing fence that's already there.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and that fence is actually, that's the neighbor's fence, and it's a significant amount off of their property line, so there's, you know, they're probably 3.5 feet off from their property line, so there's a small
You say
amount.
his fence is on your line?
No, his fence is into his lot way more than what most people would normally they'd leave about a foot, you know, but his is like 3.5 feet into his property, so I think,
3 to 4 feet.
yeah, I think that was because there was a couple of old trees there and there was some tree roots and things, so rather than do that, they just left it inside there. So it really doesn't affect the backyard because they don't use that part of the property outside the fence. In fact, you maintain that part of the property on the outside of the fence.
And the pro on this for the danger side of getting closer to a neighbor is that essentially the circulation of the stairs, the buffer between anything that would be highly caustic, you know, like the car area or even the kitchen and things like that. So inherently, that line is, even though it's technically the building is getting closer, that aspect of the building isn't really still much closer at all.
You know, looking at the lot, I don't know that, it will make, much of a difference. You said your neighbor to the north is supportive of this?
Yes.
Yeah, unfortunately, people who are in support don't come to these meetings.
He's not dropping, his roof is pitching the other way, it's not pitching towards the neighbor, so it's not like getting closer and then pitching, dropping.
Right, yeah, adding to
It's
it.
pitching more to the front.
Yep.
Right now, the roof is pitching in.
It's, right now, there's no runoff, it all goes inside.
Giant internal scupper.
We laugh even though it's not funny.
He's laughing with us.
Exactly.
We're not laughing with him.
Yeah, for the record, the county planning board had looked at this and had really no comment either way, just to concur with whatever we say here.
I'd be more concerned if there was the other neighbor's garage is right there, that just a proximity to structures like that, but that's not the case, so.
Yeah, it appears there's a kind of a lot of green space next to that side there.
Yeah, that's the complete backyard of the next
Yeah.
property up.
And those are deep lots, there's anything back there, I don't think, it's all green back there, isn't it?
The next one up, yes. The one beside that is the one that is, the kitchen place, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's north of me.
yep,
Yeah.
yeah. So there is, once you get back there, there's a big parking
That's a,
lot.
yeah, big parking lot.
Was that Henderson?
Yes.
Yep.
He doesn't have no problem with you
No.
and Lambert?
They don't have a problem either. Melissa Lambert.
I'm sorry?
Melissa Lambert.
Yeah.
I would think they would be in favor, it looks
Very much so.
nicer as it is right now.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I'll add that all the neighbors were
Noted.
Notified?
Thank you, Karen.
All right, any final questions for you? Is there anybody here from the public who wishes to comment?
With respect to seeker, I would classify this as a type 2 action. It's the granting of an area variance for a single family, 2-family, or 3-family residence. Correct? Therefore, no further action is required. These
This is adding,
Right.
that's not really changing the existing.
No, but you still have to grant a separate variance. You should, when you do your motion, you should list it.
Yes. All right, thank you.
Thanks.
I'd like to make a motion that the Glens Zoning Board of Appeals hereby grants the application for area variance 22-00010, Mike Chapa, owner of tax map number 303.17-1-23, commonly known as 147 Ridge Street, at this evening's meeting, October 17th, 2022. It will not create an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or be a detriment to nearby properties. It'll be an improvement. The existing structure is falling down, and this will increase or move to the north 3 feet into the area requested for relief. Whether the benefit can be sought by another means, there really isn't other means to achieve the garage and have the living space required. The variance does not appear to be substantial. The request that is being granted this evening for side yard setback of 4 feet 7 inches is requested. Rear yard setback, which is no change to the existing footprint, 6 foot 8 inches. And for the lot coverage, the variance request is 31.77%. It does not appear that this is substantial based on the existing structure that's in place. This will not have an adverse impact on the physical or environmental conditions of the neighborhood. And whether it's self-created or not, it really doesn't concern or doesn't hinder the granting of this variance. The existing structure is falling down, and this seems like a reasonable accommodation. Do I have a second to the motion? Seconded. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much, appreciate your time.
All right, I'd like to make a motion that the Glens Zoning Board of Appeals hereby adjourns for its October 17, 2022 meeting. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor, aye. Motion carries. Thank you.